crazy thing is, where we filmed CSI New York at CBS Radford ended up being the same studio that we filmed SEAL Team at. Like 6 years later, came back at the same stage. We were on stage 3 for 9 seasons. For
I don't think
CSI.
you ever told me that, which is crazy.
And then stage 23, we were on that stage for 7 seasons. So that studio became like a second home. And but the Gary Sinise would throw a big fucking party for them, and I met a bunch of guys and was hearing the stories. And again, it was very fresh. It was like, and it was.
How far into like your professional acting career are you at this time when you went over?
Oh, this is my first real CSI New York changed my life completely.
Like how many years into that are
you?
when you went over?
So I got my first gig on the X-Files, like season 1 of the X-Files.
AJ's been in a ton of stuff, and he looks. I can say this. He looks. I had worked with AJ for probably a year, and then he starts posting clips of stuff he's done. I'm like, I know, like I remember that. That was you, dude. Yeah. He's like fucking Gary Oldman. He looks completely different in each role. Like completely, doesn't even look like himself right now. Like dude. He could show you the role he did on the
Entourage.
Yeah, Entourage. Dude, does he? I
did Entourage,
dude.
Did you remember Anna Faris's boyfriend?
Oh shit.
Yeah, like give me the coke. Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
He starts posting stuff. I'm like, I didn't even know that was you.
Yeah,
dude, he crushed it. He looks very different in each role. I mean, in CSI New York, he's a nerd. He's literally a computer nerd, or
I was a forensic pathologist.
Yeah.
But I remember the day, like when they were testing me out for it, and I'm super dyslexic and I have real trouble reading anything.
Oh, you'll get along with all of us.
And so I
can't read.
I have to hear fucking everything and to memorize it. But so the day that they wanted to test me for the show, they had me come because they're going through lab texts. I was there to drive the story. I would show up on page 9. I'm out on page 33, 34, unless they let me out of the lab, which was only 3 times, and every girl I had got murdered. So it was a sad case. But the first word I had to say, and it was with Gary Sinise, and I knew that this is my test. Like, it's a film down thing, and so, and usually you'd have like a day or two with the lines to memorize it. They were just like, come down to the set, here's your stuff, go. So I see this big monologue and stuff. I'm like, oh, please God, this make my brain work. So for some reason, I when the first word was methoxydisopropyl-tryptamine, and the word was like that, which is basically
Bro, I'd be like,
just gave Eli
I remember every big I remember every single big fucking word on that show because it would haunt me. So I get through this to start doing the scene, and I'm flubbing over the stuff, and I'm totally sweating, and I keep hitting over like thermals and all this other stuff, and the director calls cut, and I think, all right, I'm done. And the showrunner, Pam Vese, she's like, hey, she's yelling from behind the monitor. She's like, keep whatever that choice you're doing of playing him really nervous is hysterical. Keep doing that. We love that. I'm like, oh my God.
That was on purpose.
She totally thought I was coming in and doing this like this mumbling guy.
I'm a method actor.
Yeah,
that's a bit. I'm so good. I can make myself sweat.
Like, my hands were like this, and I was like, the character's name was Mac, and I'd be Mac, and I was like, so then the writer started to write me mumbling and bumbling through the things as they're like, we love this, dude, great choice. And I was like, wasn't until like years later, like I'd done, I'm like, guys, I would actually shit my pants that day. And they're like, what? I'm like, no, this is not a character. Like, I'm still, when you give me big words, I'm really terrified. And Gary, years there, I was telling you this story the other night.
Yeah.
Gary has this, like, I had such admiration for him for everything he did on stage as Steppenwolf, and like, he's fucking Forrest Gump in 10 10. So as an actor, he was just somebody that I really admired, but he had this thing that in the scenes, his character would just stare at you and just like really just stare. So he looked pissed off all the time, and I'm getting in my own head. I'm like, fuck, oh God, Gary fucking hates me. Gary Sinise hates me. So I'm thinking this in my head while I'm doing the scene, and then it's just making it worse. And I'd always be like, see, I'm like, Gary, I'd stay out of his way and stuff. And I told him later, I'm like, dude, he was like, what? He's like, you were. I'm like, yeah, I thought. He was like, no, man. He's like, I was just in the scene looking at you. He was like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, this character Adam's an idiot, you know, but I know you're not a real idiot, AJ. I'm like, oh, thanks, Gary.
Just your character.
Yeah, just your character.
But let me say,
That you
AJ.
weren't
that was all
actually
part of the
acting
thing.
for.
Let me say, AJ, you really sold it. I mean, really sold it.
But it was, it was. But that show was, massive game changer.
So AJ, you know, I'll tell this story. So when I show up on the show, on SEAL Team, dude, so they're like, hey, they called me up on like a Wednesday and they're like, hey, can you be in New Orleans on Friday? You know, for, I think it was 6 weeks. And I was like, oh shit, man. You know, like I had to move a lot of stuff around at that time. I actually quit a job to go work on SEAL Team, which is a whole story in itself. But dude, they're hitting me up for like, I'm figuring out my life. Like I literally quit a really good job to go do this, which was a huge risk, by the way. Which I'll just tell that story very quickly because I think it's important. I got called, I wanted to work in Hollywood. And, you know, I got a big movie when they called for Suicide Squad. They're like, hey, can you leave?
Which one?
The first one.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, dude, it was actually awesome. So I'm friends with David, who directed Ayer, who directed it. I mean, what we shot was an awesome movie. What was edited was not an awesome
That's
movie.
what I hear.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, I was there for 6 months filming. What we shot was awesome. A very good movie. What was edited, what was shot was not a comedy.
What do you mean?
We've talked about
the studio can fuck up a good production.
I know it's shocking, but
we've stressed this so many times.
what was shot was a lot of good stuff. I mean, dude, they could have edited an entire movie of just Joker and Harley Quinn. Like they had enough footage to just do an entire movie with them. And I was actually, so there's actually a scene, by the way, that I'm in that you don't know it, but the scene where the Joker goes into Harley Quinn's cell. There's a guy that opens, the door.
I like the tail end of the movie.
Yeah, it's a very end of the movie. I think it's actually the last
movie.
scene where there's a guy in a gas mask. He opens the door for Joker. Joker goes in and then he guards the door. That's me wearing a gas mask. I had to have a gas mask because I'm actually in the movie as a good guy, so I couldn't also be a bad guy. But anyways, I just did that. Anyways, dude, there was a lot of dialogue in that scene just that disappeared. But that scene was shot for like an hour on screen, and it's 30 seconds in the movie. Anyways, when I got that job offer, call me up. Hey, 6 months in Toronto. Can you leave in 3 days? And I'm like. So it was a big life decision. I'm like, this is the direction I want to go. So I dropped everything and made some pretty serious ramifications to the relationship I was in at the time, and was like, this is the direction I want to go, and I left. And I ended up technically getting SEAL Team, that call directly from that. SEAL Team happens, and again, I get a call, can you leave in a couple days for 6 weeks? I had a really good job at the time, and I was just like, man, I gotta try. I got to try. And so I quit that job and ended up going. My whole point is dude, if something is what you want to do in life, no matter how good what you have is, you got to reach for the thing that you want to do. And I can tell you, those two decisions were debatably two of the best decisions I made in my life. Was letting go of what I had to try and grab on to what I want. Yeah, and
everyone at this table.
No, I know. I know
table.
Everyone here agrees with that, but I want to say it to the audience because if those decision points come up in your life, go. Just go. Don't.
It's gonna be scary as fuck.
It's gonna be scary. Don't think too hard. Go. Reach out towards what you want.
And you can definitely fail. Like you could fuck it up.
Yeah.
But you'll never regret it.
No, you can fuck it up. But when that opportunity comes up again, try it again.